Development Authority monthly meeting for December 21st, 2021. We'll go ahead and open the floor for public comment. Vicki, did anybody sign up to speak this morning? Okay, no speakers. Next item on the agenda is the review and approval of the meeting minutes from our November meeting.
I'll move.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Good morning. Next item on the agenda is the review of the financial statements, and we have our brand-new staff accountant, Katrina Flowers, who is here to share that with us.
Katrina.
Madam Chair, I may while Katrina's making her way up, we are, as you all know, we have been without an accountant for the better part of a year. We've been actively searching, but we're determined not to fill the position till we found the right candidate, and we believe we have. And Katrina, we're so glad that she's with us.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. And welcome aboard.
Are you going to straighten him out?
I don't know. Well, good morning, Madam Chair and board members. We have provided a copy of the annual financial reporting you have from the previous results of our audited financials from Cherry Becker. And this morning, I am planning to present the monthly cash flow covering the periods of September, October, and November. So 3 months, I have been busy.
So you've been catching us up, huh?
4 weeks. So it has been a pleasure. Beginning here with the beginning cash balance as of September 1st, 2021. We have $4,445,531 as our balance. Okay, and looking at the significant cash that we had during those periods, the industrial revenue bond fees from September, also we received some in November. And of course, we received some interest. We have significant disbursements. We have it from Kimberly Horn. But you'll notice in the disbursement section, I just want to let you know, there are some disbursements that may be prior to the periods that I've reconciled, because we were catching up. And so moving forward, we should be pretty good and in sync with everything as far as starting out next month will be in December. So you'll notice that you'll see doing disbursements, a few that are outside of the range in which was reconciled because we're catching up. And we had $3,328 for Kimberly Horn engineering services, and of course Cherry Becker's fees for audit, and the $10,000 tip strategies for the strategic plan. Okay, in continuation, we had the global links, and you'll see October to November, but what it is it's really October, but the period's covering October the 15th through November the 15th. And that really is October's payment. And the $13,792 for global links for November the 15th, covering the period of December the 15th. And we have $33,884. That was the VHB. And of course, as I mentioned, you will see things that we're catching up on, and we should be great moving forward. And then the $10,000 to tip strategic plans. So the ending balance for the operating account for November the 30th, 2021 was $4,458,260. And so we're moving into the incentives and initiatives accounts, which is our EDIP grants from September 2021 through November 2021. Beginning our balance, cash balance for September 1st, is $2,117,885. We had some significant cash receipts. Of course, the $2,051,760 was the city's appropriated EDIP funds for fiscal year 2022. And noting from the previous month, Brian mentioned that we had funds transferred from the city's CIP to cover, of course, the VDA funds. And so, of course, we saw that it was feasible to move the funds into the VBDA account as opposed to having to go and request for reimbursements or payments, drawdowns to put money in to cover expenditures for the EDIP. Moving down, we had $553,012, which is for the dome site reimbursements, and significant expenditures, disbursements, which is $109,109, and Singer Davis LLC for legal fees for the dome site. And of course, you notice again that it's from April to September, so we're catching up, and we should be fine moving forward. Also, there was expenditures for $546,043 for Atlantic Park expenses for reimbursement for the city's capital project. The $45,273 to Jones at 1880 APZ was the final payment for capital investments, and this was the Southampton construction project, a part of that. And we have Hunt Andrews Curse, which is for it's legal fees as well for the dome site. Okay. And the significance here, significant disbursements. Of course, we had a few bank fees, which were not a lot, but it's collectively for 3 months. And also $43,165 for Kimley Horn for A&E services for the dome site studies. Moving along, we did have a few expenditures for the DIP awards, just notating that. And then Sandra, Virginia Import for EDIP Part A, we had a partial payment of $142,865. And of course, the $31,880 was the next of 2 for the bio accelerator. And the bottom here also reflect $204,303 for the bio initiative funds for management fund fees and reimbursement of construction expenses. And this is a part of the facility Linux project. The ending balance cash for November, as of November the 30th, 2021, is $3,733,823. That concludes the report for September, October, and November for the operating account as well as the DIP incentive account. Also, I just want to let you know, of course, as I stated, I have been sincerely diligently working. I was able to meet with the city auditors and his staff. And I just want to let you know we are working towards improving some of those processes based on the recommendations. And then as of next month, I know you all are accustomed to seeing a summary for your EDIP grants. I am working diligently to try to have that up in your balances for you as of next month, so that we can get, so that you'll know exactly where your EDIP funds are standing. Okay. That is all that I have for you. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for Katrina? Doesn't look like it. Thank you for your presentation this morning, and again, welcome aboard.
And thank you for allowing me to serve you. Have a great holiday.
Thank you, you too.
Madam Chair, if I may, one thing to mention there. Just to remind everyone that all of the expenditures associated with the Atlantic Park project will be reimbursed out of the bond proceeds at closing. So that's more than $500,000 of the expenses that you just saw. The other important thing to note is you'll recall when Mr. Ramirez was last here, he indicated that we did not know the amount of available sort of in dollars for incentives. What I would tell you is 4 weeks into her tenure, Katrina can tell us exactly how much money we have available for incentives. So that's the one outstanding finding, a recommendation from his last review. And I want to thank Katrina for closing that for us in 4 weeks.
Thank you. All right, next item up on the agenda is the request for approval of the 31st Street public parking opportunity. Welcome, Kathy.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Vice Mayor, Councilman Jones. We almost have this to the finish line. We're excited to bring this to you today. This is an opportunity that presented a public parking opportunity down in the resort area with a developer that's currently building the former Belvedere site out as a new Hyatt hotel. These are the disclosures. Just to give you the location, in the red boundary is the new Hyatt Place Hotel, built by Suburban Capital. The yellow area is the area we will be talking about today. It's a surface lot between Pacific and Atlantic, 35th and 35th and a half. This is the new Hyatt Place Hotel going up 140 rooms. It has a requirement of 140 parking spaces within the Oceanfront Resort District. The parking lot area is 0.66 acres, and hotel completion is due in May of 2022. The city's existing parking assets, we have 5 lots in the resort, 3 garages, and 658 on-street metered spaces, for a total of just under 3,000 total public parking spaces. South, and this is important to note, south of 31st Street. Currently, we don't have any assets north of 31st other than the metered parking. So just to show you, when we started looking at this area to work with the developer to build some additional public parking, we did note that the meters have a very high turnover rate, which means it's a hot spot. With the restaurants, the shops in that area, that this would be a good place to offer some additional public parking. Just to remind everybody, our capital needs for our oceanfront parking are met through our Parking Enterprise Fund through a capital improvement project program. And we currently have a fund balance in that CIP of about $2 million. Our revenues for our garages in 2019, you'll see 31st Street was $411,000, 25th at $88,000, and 25th Street continues to climb as more and more people know that, and this is the public parking that is with, it's right with the complex with the apartments and iFly. And as more and more people know it's there, each year we see that climbing. And 9th Street, $304,000 in revenues. So our projected revenue and expenses just for the public spaces in this garage, by year 5, you'll see that we're expecting a revenue of about $439,000, expenses at $276,000, and then our capital maintenance at $20,000.
Are we spending enough on capital maintenance? I was in downtown Norfolk, and some of those city lots are in really bad shape. Are we keeping ours up?
Yes, sir, we are. And we have Kimley Horn come in on a regular basis each year to give us an assessment. We create that laundry list of what we need to do in the upcoming year, and we conduct our maintenance that way.
And do we know what the occupancy rate is of the city-owned garages in the summer?
We do have that. I don't have that with me, but I'm happy to provide that to you.
Are they pretty full?
They are on certain days of the year. So obviously a really nice Saturday at the resort, we're full, but again, it's maybe 20 days out of the year.
I guess the question, how do we know we need more spaces?
So as we continue, and I'm going to hit on this on one of our later slides, we are conducting the resort area mobility plan currently, and we're studying all of the data that we're collecting. Because we don't have any parking up in the northern area of the resort, we believe that it's a great time for us to add some. And we don't believe that we're overbuilding. We're only building 200 spaces there.
And Kathy, it's important to note when we talk about public parking, need to the extent that we can, sort of segregate the program. So obviously, the parking behavior that we see here in the Pembroke SGA is fundamentally different than what we see at the resort. Here, our usage was significantly affected by the pandemic. However, as we come out of the pandemic and people in the district are returning to work, we're seeing occupancy improve here. At the resort, 2021, we probably saw more utilization than we've seen possibly ever. I mean, it was, and it's certainly in a decade. Now, we don't know if that's pent-up demand coming out of the pandemic or if that's our new pattern. We do know that we're entering a construction phase with the dome site where about 550 spaces of surface parking will be removed completely during construction, obviously replaced with garages at the end. But we do know that we'll need more parking on Atlantic just to handle what the current occupancy that we're seeing. But we'll get you firm numbers on that.
A question here, I mean, when we're building new garages, are we considering like charging stations or at least the infrastructure to have something like this?
So go ahead, Kathy.
We are. One of our garages already has some charging stations, and we're looking to add additional to the rest of our.
I think what's really important to know is yes, there is a demand, and primarily what I look at it is the employee component. And we'll never have the quality employees, or the resort will have a very difficult time without having safe, reliable parking. But I think more importantly than just as important is protecting the neighborhoods. So it'll prevent the employees from going into the neighborhoods by having this available parking, because I assume you'll allow employees.
Well said.
So one of the questions that came up during this process was, what about the employees of Suburban Capital? And as I mentioned in an earlier slide, they only have a need for 140 spaces, but they've agreed to build an additional 14. They'll have 19 people working at one time on a shift. So the additional 5 spaces, Suburban Capital's office is 2 blocks away, so they're going to offer their surface parking over there as well for their employees. So the proposal is, again, 200 spaces, public spaces for the city. We will manage this parking garage just as we do all of our other parking garages. Suburban Capital will build 154 spaces. The spaces are at $23,900 per space. We are also going to pay a land cost of just under $2 million for the site, so the city's total here would be $6.76 million. There has been a CIP, a special CIP set up over a year ago for this purpose. It's the resort parking CIP. Currently has a balance of $11.125 million in it, which is where the funding, and City Council approved this the other night. The funding for this project will come out of that CIP. So, as I just mentioned, we are working through the resort area mobility plan. We're hoping to wrap that up in early spring. As part of that process, we are hearing loud and clear we should be adding public parking opportunities throughout the resort. And as I mentioned, we don't have anything currently above 31st Street, so this is a great place for us to add some. And then we have a 2013 Kimley Horn parking strategy, which says the same. So both of these plans support this process. So our next steps, again, City Council appropriated the funds the other night on December 14th to go to the EDA. And today's the presentation and recommending approval.
So Kathy, none of the funds are actually coming from our EDIP pool. They've all already been approved and allocated from City Council to the VBDA. So
That's correct.
the money is there for us to spend on this
And
project.
it's a separate, completely separate CIP established for this service.
I think that's important to note. The other group we left out, and they're probably in your stakeholder group, residents of the city of Virginia Beach, they want to go to the oceanfront in the summertime too. And if there isn't parking for them, they don't. So I think this is a great opportunity for everybody who lives in the city to have the ability to come visit the oceanfront in the summertime when many of us don't want to visit the oceanfront because it's too crowded or there isn't parking. So I think it's great for everybody in the city. All right, any other questions for Kathy? If not, the chair will entertain a motion on this request.
Motion to approve.
So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. The next item on today's agenda is a request for approval of the NES Oceana Future-Based Design Agreement.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the authority, Vice Mayor Wilson, Councilman Jones. Today, as you know, we've been working with NES Oceana on the future-based design. One of the latest projects we've worked on is to develop a intergovernmental support agreement, which I'll be presenting to you today. First of all, I wanted to go over a summary of terms for this agreement. The Navy, as you know, has excess land here at Oceana and are looking to market it to get resources to maintain their facility, to continue its viability moving forward. They've asked us to help from a marketing standpoint, the properties that are going to be available, and they would benefit from the rental income and in-kind services from the companies that we locate there at the future-based design area. We would benefit because we would gain additional land to market for the city for businesses. So that presents some great opportunities for us as we're a little stressed right now on greenfield locations, and certainly this provides those opportunities for us. Proposed term of this agreement is a 1 year with 9 one-year options after that. These are just a few of the key properties that we feel from an economic development standpoint that there's a lot of opportunity for us to work with the Navy to locate businesses there. And I won't read each one, but we'll leave it up for a second so you can see that. As you will note, though, both of these properties are outside of the fence of Oceana and also internal inside the fence of Oceana. I know this chart's a little bit hard to see, but some of the properties obviously is where you see the vacant land here at West Station, Oceana Boulevard, the ag field, the horse stables is another area, Harper's Road old housing, the commissary area here, and another ag field here. So those are just a few of the over really 1,000 acres that they have available ultimately to develop. Some of the responsibilities, the Navy's going to provide us with the physical and environmental site information on the property. Also let us know the restrictions depending upon the site that we're working on. Also assist us in the marketing efforts. They'll provide the documents for the agreements once we identify prospects for these sites, provide us access to the sites to show prospects, and then reimburse us for reasonable costs related to the project. From our end, we will look at all the properties and assess the marketability of it. We'll develop a marketing plan for each site as part of the program, and look at it from a highest and best use of the properties that are available. Also, we'll host a website for that, which will incorporate a lot of the resources of the city here within our website, the city's website for economic development. We'll also work with the Navy hand in hand to meet with them to discuss the prospects in great detail. And then also, if there's a Freedom of Information Act, we'll work through that with the Navy to provide the appropriate documentations. For this work that we'll be doing, the Navy has budgeted $100,000 per year for all of our costs undertaken under this agreement. And the Navy will request work from the Development Authority on a work order basis. And with the Development Authority being reimbursed on the completion of these tasks, and this will be a process conforming to the federal code for work orders and for work from outside entities. So our recommendation is that the Development Authority execute the IGSA between the Navy Regional Mid-Atlantic, City of Virginia Beach Development Authority for services to market and promote the renovation, redevelopment, and utilization of the real property.
All right, questions for Ray? I think the primary question is how are we going to staff this, but my assumption is that we'll have issue an RFP for the support services that we'll need to enable us to provide these services to the Navy, right?
Yes, ma'am, and obviously we, like all things with the Navy, it's, I don't know that you're looking at immediate real estate development here, and so I mean, we certainly hope so, but what I would tell you is I think you've got time. So yes, ma'am, we'd certainly go through whatever process was required to ensure that the authority was protected.
Right. And Ray, sort of refresh our recollection, is this the first of its kind agreement between the Navy and the locality, or are there others in the U.S.?
You know, in our discussions, there's various agreements dealing more with base closures and helping on that. But as far as a future-based design, I believe it may be the first, but I don't know that definitely.
So it'd be the second. There was it'd be similar to what we've seen from a Navy standpoint in Philadelphia, but then also the Brooks Base in San Antonio, the Air Force Base, where you continue to have an airfield operate during redevelopment. And so in this case, we do see a real sense of urgency from at the installation and Fleet Forces Command, but again, as is true with all the areas, we'll keep you posted on our progress.
And I think just at the, we don't want to alarm anybody, but this isn't a sign that the Navy's retreating or moving out. This is a sign that they're looking for creative ways to pay to manage their own capital and maintain their own capital, right?
That's exactly right.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, the money they get to maintain the facility from the government is just not meeting the needs due to the age and all of the facility here. So this helps them to update, maintain, and build new facilities, having this type of income added to their bottom line.
Yeah. And I would say in the short term, real estate is location, 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 right? So if we put these properties on our website and we alert the brokerage community in Hampton Roads that these properties are available, you will have people knocking at the door. I don't think there'll be any issue marketing these properties. I think we just have to get the word out that these are available for development that is appropriate and in line with the current restrictions on uses in those areas.
Absolutely. It's probably the end of the first quarter. We're looking to have an open house and invite the real estate, commercial real estate community and other folks that deal with businesses that are expanding and relocating to make sure they know all the advantages and opportunities here.
And the availability. Great. Any other questions for Ray?
I have a quick question. So a commercial realtor wants to get one of these parcels. They go directly to the Navy, or are they gonna be coming through us, or how's that gonna work?
They will work hand in hand. Both the Navy and ourselves will have a say-so in the process. So most likely they will be coming to us first as the marketing entity, and then we'll meet with the Navy and discuss the requirements they need to see if it's compatible to the use.
So we're sort of, we'll be the intermediary in all of this.
Yes.
I think one other important point, correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, but the Navy isn't selling any of this land. It'll be conveyed pursuant to a long-term ground lease, very long-term ground lease.
That's correct, because the rules they work with indicate that if it was sold, the money would go up to Washington, and there would be no assurances that it would come back to help NAS Oceana. And also, rather than a monthly payment for lease, it could be providing in-kind services to help with the facility, the NAS Oceana facility, and areas where they need assistance in.
So it's a good opportunity for us and for the development community. All right, so the chair will entertain a motion on the intergovernmental support agreement with the Navy.
So moved.
We've got a motion.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the request for approval of a variance for street frontage revitalization sign, Bush Vacuum Solutions, Oceana West.
Madam Chair, members of the BDA, good morning. I'm here to present a variances request for site frontage improvements and signage from one of our existing companies, Bush Vacuum Solutions. These are the disclosures, and Bush LLC is the applicant. We have the project representatives here with us, Chris Kairos and Randy Royal. It all started in 1963 in Germany, where Bush Vacuum Solutions was established. Fast forward until today, Bush is one of the leading manufacturers of industrial vacuum pumps, blowers, and compressor systems that have wide applications. The company has been in Virginia Beach for more than 40 years, and they have been enjoying sustainable growth. This is their third expansions in this facility. From the modern 200,000 square feet facility in Virginia Beach, Bush manufactures and sells industrial vacuum pumps, blowers, and industrial vacuum pumps for many industries, from food packaging to electrical power generations, as well as some biomedical. And they're a truly essential business with over 3,500 employees worldwide and 250 in Virginia Beach. They're located in 516 Viking Drive, which is in Oceana West Industrial Park. This is the site outlined for you. They have acquired approximately 4.2 acres for future expansion to the north, which is outlined here. And since they're located in Oceana West Industrial Park, they're subject to the Oceana West Industrial Park restrictive covenants. The company is contemplating several landscape enhancement to their site, and which will equate to an investment of approximately $1.3 million. This is just the outside. They also will have additional $5.2 million of investment inside the facility. We're here only discussing the outside improvements. They will be also creating outdoor and a gathering place for employees and customers, and replacing the ground-mounted sign and the wall-mounted sign with some more modern type, contemporary-looking signs. The work is expected to commence in spring of 2022, and variances to the Oceana West restrictive covenants will be needed to accommodate this project. And let's discuss the signs, the proposed signs. The company is interested in replacing the ground-mounted sign, which is pictured here, and the wall-mounted sign with more modern sculpture type signs, and this is the wall-mounted sign. These are the sign restrictions for the Oceana West Industrial Park, and these are the proposed dimensions. As you can see, they slightly increased. However, it is important to note that those proposed signs are aligned with the zoning ordinance for I-1 district. And in order for the company to move forward with the replacement, they will need a variance to address these increases. For the site improvements, this is the site. This is where those improvements are going to take place. This is Viking Drive, and that's their facility. As I mentioned, it's 100,000 square feet facility, and they have expanded 3 times, and that's why they still would like to invest in the facility. This is a picture of the existing site looking south, which is over here. That one. So this is a site improvement plan that is showing the landscape improvements. And as you can see, this is the area that I just outlined for you in the previous slide. The whole front area will go through these improvements. This is some parking spaces will be eliminated from here, but they will be relocated to the 4.2 acre site that they acquired. And this is the pavilion and some water features. Also, the access flow will be improved with these improvements. In order for the company to move forward with this project, they will also need they will need a variance, 50 feet front building setback variance. They need to reduce the required 50 feet front building setback to 30 feet front building setbacks. And this is showing the pavilion and the sitting area. Project illustrates the company's commitment to continue to grow in its Virginia Beach facility, and staff supports and recommends the approval of the variances for signage, front setback modifications that Bush Vacuum Solutions is requesting. The company will remain in full compliance with the I-1 zoning district regulations for signage setbacks. And this concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions?
I'll move it.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think it's important to note that it does meet all of the I-1 setbacks and signage requirements. We just have a restrictive covenants in the park, which are really older and probably need to be updated, that don't allow for the same signage and setbacks. So we're not waiving or varying anything in the city's ordinance. It's just our own restrictive covenants. All right, and we've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you.
Lisa, who was the motion and second?
Motion. David Byrne and Penny Morgan. All right, the next item on today's agenda is another request for approval of a sign variance. This one also in Oceana West for Northrop Grumman Systems. Good morning.
CBA members, well, same thing as you have mentioned, Lisa. I believe this year we're gonna work on updating those covenants. I mean, they're outdated. You see more and more companies, even existing companies, like wanting to change their either wall-mounted signs or their monument signs. So Northrop Grumman at 2701 International Parkway. Same thing, they would like to change for the disclosure. So the building, that's the location of the building. the sign, I guess it's a wall-mounted sign that is here. So this is the existing sign. I wanted to change it to more visible sign. The building is 200 feet long, and that sign is like really small, like to have a 24 square feet area. They're proposing 54. You have the allowed others businesses, existing businesses to change their wall-mounted signs that usually between an average of 50 to 70, we've seen even 90 square feet. So the recommendation is to approve the wall-mounted sign as proposed.
Any questions on this? Nope, seems pretty straightforward. The chair will entertain a motion. Motion. In a second, and for the record, although there's not a technical legal conflict because the property owner is a client of my firm, I won't be voting on this one. So all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on today's agenda is request for approval of a setback waiver. Again, Oceana West Industrial Park. Is that?
No, that was deferred.
Oh, that one was deferred. Okay, sorry, we're gonna skip over 7. Surprise. You didn't study for that test, did you? All right, request for resolution authorizing an EDIP Part A award grant. This one's you, right?
Yes. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Development Authority, presenting today on an EDIP recommendation for IMS gear. So disclosures, we'll give you a second, noting the applicant representative. So the company is IMS Gear Inc. They're at 489 Progress Lane. Their parent company is in Germany. They
Gear LLC.
LLC, sorry. They manufacture metal and plastic parts for automotive seats. So some background, they're in a nearly 112,000 square foot building. It was built by the Miller Group in 2011. They were with a 10-year lease with the Miller Group. They're looking to purchase the building for $10.5 million. Additionally, they're going to be introducing a new product line, investing in new equipment for $1.1 million. The employee count is going to be retained at 228. So just a breakdown of the capital investment, we're looking at $10.5 million for real estate, $1.1 million for new equipment at $11.6 million. We are recommending an EDIP award of $350,000. Any questions?
Pretty straightforward. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
All right, so we've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Oh, we have one abstention, yeah. All right, any comments, we're up to it, administrative information, any comments from any commissioners? Hearing none, Taylor's standing up. Go ahead and recognize him for his report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also, just on your last item, if I may, I just want to say it's always a great day for us when a company that started here with 11 employees has Gunter over, was it 320 prior to the pandemic, to 225 at present, but obviously when
Still hiring.
and still hiring, that's right. When companies that have become such an important part of our local business framework move from a leasehold interest to sort of permanent ownership in our community, seeing how things are going on, seeing the consolidation that's going on in the automotive supply business specifically right now, yeah, how excited we are to know that IMS is going to be a permanent part of our business community. So want to thank them for their investment. But also, coming off of that, we've been named a global thought leader by CBS, and we want to show you, for my report, this week I thought we'd show you this video that is currently available for YouTube, CBS's website, but also I think we saw where it's aired in over 40 countries at this point. And just a little, we thought it was a great piece that they did on us. And so, Svetla, if you'll hit play, Madam Chair, this will be my report.
Virginia Beach is just an excellent place to live, grow a family, work. We've got, I think, a wonderful four-season climate. We're centrally located with easy access to so many fun and exciting things. We've got the ocean and bay right next to us. Not only that, we have access to things which you typically find in more urban areas. Things like museums, convention centers, music venues, nice restaurants and shopping. But the neat thing is that we really don't have some of the challenges that come with some of the more dense urban areas as well.
We're strategically located to be close to anything that you would need as a business to be successful. We're close to Washington, D.C., not that far away from the New York metropolitan area, and we're relatively close within a drive's distance from all the other major cities in the Southeast. And we have a very low tax base and a simplified tax base, so the regulatory hurdles that you face in other cities, you don't face here in Virginia Beach. And quality of life standpoint is we got 28 miles of coastline in a relatively affordable part of America. So everything we're checking the box on. We're a great city to be.
We are a collection of some fantastic local and international manufacturing companies. One of the great things about the Virginia Beach Economic Development Department is they've done a wonderful job connecting us together, creating roundtables and allowing us to connect with each other and even outwardly as well.
The cost of doing business in Virginia Beach is lower than in other regions of the United States. Actually, there's 200 international companies operating in the area that represent 27 countries. The city's Economic Development Department has been really helpful and supportive from the beginning until the end.
We're so happy that Sunny Farms chose Virginia Beach to build a 1.2 million square foot hydroponic farming facility. When you're talking about hydroponic farming, it's important to note you've got to look at the broader market. It's really going to be the future of food in Virginia. They're going to start with lettuce, and then they're expanding into other fruits and vegetables. This new and exciting industry will give us the ability to help ensure that future generations of Virginia Beach and Virginia citizens have the access to food that we need.
Well, when we started this, the economic director supported this from day one. He helped us with the contacts at the state, and then the state has given us a grant to set up, as well as the city is matching funds for the city. So they've been very supportive of us.
We are growing our economic base with innovative jobs of the future. In particular, when you look at the things that are coming here in Virginia Beach with the offshore data cables and the offshore wind project, is that where the world is going, we're focusing on that. We're focusing on those environmental sustainable jobs, and we're focused on those future high-tech jobs that's going to move us away from the old industries and into the jobs and the careers of the 21st century.
When you're talking about innovation in Virginia Beach, it's important to note that the Virginia Clean Economy Act has fundamentally changed the market here. Dominion Energy has announced the first major offshore wind expansion in federal waters in the United States. It's over 2,500 megawatts. It's going to be enough renewable energy to power 650,000 homes. We know that just south of us, the Kitty Hawk project by Avangrid Renewables will land here in Virginia Beach, and that power will access the grid through our community.
The living wage jobs associated with the offshore wind project would allow our city to continue to grow and also to focus in on developing a competitive advantage in the key industry that's taken over the world, which is energy sustainability and environmental sustainability.
The key to positively growing target industries is, one, making sure you've got the right target industries. The two pedestals of our business community have been tourism, where we are a global destination for families and beach travelers, but also for the federal government. If you think about Virginia Beach, you can access all 5 branches of the United States military within 30 miles of our community or within our community. As it relates to city education partnerships around workforce training, we've invested heavily in educational partnerships with Tidewater Community College and Virginia Wesleyan University to ensure that there were public options for workforce training that could help close skill gaps that made our local residents competitive for the jobs, not just that they were looking for today, but the jobs that would offer them a career in a field about which they were passionate. And we're seeing that come to bear real time right now, and it's incredibly exciting. Opportunities to continue promoting innovation in Virginia Beach are broad because we're seeing that we are a real destination for new and exciting industries that are coming to our country and that are growing in our country right now. We anticipate that over the next 15 years, the bulk of our energies will be spent simply exploring and maximizing these new opportunities. It's a very exciting time to be here. So quickly, thanks to two of our Development Authority members. So you noticed there was some seafood being served at Waterman's, and there was or excuse me, at Chick's, and then of course IMS gear featured in there as well. So thanks to members of the authority that allowed us to do a little filming at their locations. But what I will tell you is this is in the way that earned media is always more valuable than the things that we purchase. We're already seeing, we showed this in England a couple of weeks ago, and I think Paige would tell you that we have companies that are coming to visit just on the scenery that they saw when they were introduced to Virginia Beach for the first time, sort of visually. So we're grateful that we were selected. And also, I would encourage you all to have a look at the YouTube page where all of the other companies that are in this series are featured, and you'll find that we're using Patrick's term, we're sort of punching above our weight class, we think, or maybe we're getting into a new weight class. Let's hope. But anyway, it's an exciting time for us. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Taylor. And I just wanted to say, coming off of 2020, we spent a lot of time in 2020 getting out emergency resources to small businesses and really working hard to make sure the businesses that we had could continue to stay in the city and to really continue to operate coming into 2021. I think what we've seen in 2021, those businesses have reopened. We're starting to see new growth in existing businesses, which we've seen at today's meeting. And then, Taylor and staff really, and this is a testament to how hard they worked coming out of 2020 and really continuing throughout this pandemic to make sure they're bringing new businesses and new opportunities to the city. So we love to be able to grow our existing businesses and to support our existing businesses, but to have the opportunity to bring new businesses to the city, it's tremendous benefit for all of our citizens. So thank you again, Taylor and staff, for all of the incredibly hard work. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everybody. And I think that concludes our open session for today. With that, the chair will entertain a motion to recess into a closed session pursuant to the exemptions from open meetings allowed by Section 2.2-3711A Code of Virginia as amended for the following purposes. Contracts. Discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders and offerers, and discussion of the terms or scope of such contracts, where discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A30, and prospective business or industry. Discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry where no previous announcement has been made of the business or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A5.